afternoon, everyone. This is the Committee on Education, Public Libraries, and Women Affairs Committee, and we're here this afternoon to, of course, have confirmation hearings on several of appointees, and in addition, we also have a bill to hear. But before we start, I'd like to, of course, acknowledge the Vice Chair of the committee who is here joining me, Senator Yamashita. And I'd like to also let the public know that this public hearing for appointments that individuals can continue to submit their testimony either in favor or against any of the appointments, and that also is for a bill that we're going to hear. And of course, the sooner the better, because as you know, normally is that we try to, on the month of August, is to deal with the budget, and we would like to, at the same time when we're done with that, is to then continue with other bills, and more importantly, we like to also get out the nominees and get them confirmed through the legislature, hopefully, at the end of our budget. So you would have some time, at least, to make sure then I'll give you, I would say 10 days, usually, to keep the committee reports open to submit any testimonies for the following individuals that I'm going to list. And you can either email them to my office at this address, speaker@judy1pat.com. You can fax it to my office at 472-3589. You can also have it delivered to our mail room on the opposite side of this building, or you can mail it to 155 Hessler Street, Guam. I'd like to also recognize and thank the Vice Speaker for joining us, Vice Speaker B.J. Cruz. So the nominations of those that we would like to bring up will be, and I'll mention all of them first of all, is the appointment of Ms. Denise K.L. Reyes as a member of the Guam Public Library System Board, the appointment of Kyle R. Mandapat, also a member for the Guam Public Library System Board. We have an appointment of Ms. Maria S. Connelley, member for the GCC Board of Trustees. The appointment of Elvin Y. Chiang, member for the University of Guam Board of Regents. And lastly, then we have Bill number 300-32, introduced, of course, by the Vice Speaker, and is relative to allowing trainees under the nursing training program to agree to accept employment with a private hospital in Guam as a condition of selection and enrollment of the program. So that's the agenda for this afternoon. We would like to go ahead, though, and start with the first person on the agenda, which is the appointment of Ms. Denise K.L. Reyes for the the Guam Public Library System Board. And we'll see who has signed up to provide testimony. And other than Denise Reyes herself, is there anybody else who have? You're welcome to submit. Signed in if you want to publicly give your support for Ms. Reyes. And of course, like I said, the other forms of submitting your testimony also in favor. You all don't need to rush up right away. But there being none, you guys are too bashful. But Miss Denise Regis, then you are asked to please come to the front, and when you press the button, the red light will come on, that's meaning then that you can speak. I ask that you please state your name, and in this case, you are Denise, right? Okay. Yes. So just state your name for the record, because everything is being recorded, and then you may proceed with your testimony. Okay.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Denise Reyes. I am a homeschool mother for the past 15 years. I have 4 children, one about to graduate, one in middle school, and one in elementary. One has already graduated and is employed and married. And I would like to fulfill my obligations as a board member for the Guam Public Library System because I feel I bring a very needed and very beneficial asset to them by being a liaison as both an avid user of the library system in all the different villages. I also have connections with all of the homeschool association as a tutor and an academic coach. And I have an ear for what the children need, what at all different levels of education, ways to use the library as both its services and the different programs that they have. As it is now, I visit the library daily and we hold different activities there, and so I can see where the library, where things might slip through and where their services excel and how they can enhance it. Most of the other mothers that I do homeschool with that would give testimony are with our children at a camp up in Retidian now. So I think I bring a lot for the local users of the library, and I think I would enhance the board of directors, my suggestions and my comments on that. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm just going to ask you a few questions, and then I'll open it up as well to my colleagues to ask any questions or provide any comments. You are, as you've indicated, that you are a high user of our local library system. How long have you been using the library?
As an adult, as an educator of my children, well, I grew up in Guam, so I went to the academy. I was at the library ever since I was a kid. But as it is now, probably the past 15 years as a weekly user of the library.
And I thank you, by the way, for volunteering to serve, in this capacity as a board member, because there's no money in this at all, and it's just more, at least from what you've indicated, your love for and the use of our public schools. Our public library. So having used it for about 15 years, and I'm assuming it's because of your children, because you've homeschooled them, and
correct,
having access then to other educational materials. What have you seen then in the library that may be lacking, that you feel that in your capacity as an advocate of the library system that you can bring then to the table, to the board, to the legislature? Can you share that with us?
Well, the biggest thing I noticed, and I don't know necessarily if it's a lack, I think it might be just that it's unaware. I feel there are two basic users of the library system. There's those who want to procure services. They like the story time, they like the activities, they like the crafts, they like the people services that are provided. Then there are other people who just want the books, who, if it were a completely automated system, would be fine. They just want the actual facility. And with that, each different library, I know, like Barragata, the staff who tends to work at Barragata are very activity friendly. They're very hands-on for individual patrons, and that's probably because there's more children in the schools around it. Other more remote libraries are just, their services usually cater more to the people who want to go there, get a book, do the research, and then leave. So with that in mind, as far as library staff being able to provide it, I think the staff by far is very, very helpful. But it's just an awareness, someone who's kind of down at the grassroots level that can bring that additional input as to how they can enhance their services.
Do you see then, you mentioned awareness, so are you seeing that that there aren't enough patrons maybe coming to the library, and that through this awareness that you want to bring out to the community, to the grassroots, like you said, would be then to increase the patrons?
I think if they knew what services were provided and on a consistent basis, they could be encouraged to use it more. situation where it becomes a habit, but I know the people in Mauricio where I'm from, once I've kind of lend them to, I have two children here whose mother goes at least once a week. They're open for 2 days there. And once it becomes habit forming, then the library, my kids were we're down in town, I'm running errands. Can we just go to the library while you do that? And that's what we want our children to do. We want to provide them a safe place where they can go and not just hang out like at the mall or at the park or, in the parking lot. We want them to be able to go someplace where they can do something beneficial. They can read, they can relax, they can go to where they don't need to talk to anyone. They can just be alone, but in a safe environment. That's also enhancing their education and their development.
So what are some of the things that then you would like to, that you feel that in your capacity as an advocate then is to enhance or improve the libraries in our community?
Well, I think if we can cater to certain demographics, right now I know there's a push for the visually impaired, but there's also different stumbling blocks. If there were reading programs, like after-school reading programs, children who are struggling to read, people who can coordinate what they're doing with DI in the education system as far as bringing those kinds of reading to the younger kids and cater to those. Then there are many adults, especially in Naganya, and I get a lot with, there's homeless people there. Well, maybe they don't read. Maybe they need to read. I'm not advocating, let's have this be a hangout for anyone who wants to come in, but we need to serve these different people. There are a lot of Micronesian adults who are somewhat confined where they are because they don't read. If we had services that would cater to them, where they wouldn't feel so ostracized, okay, I'm in the library, but everyone's just staring at me. If they had a place to go, like here's adult reading section, here's juvenile reading section, here, something like that. So that everyone would feel welcome there or feel safe there. I have a 17-year-old, so I don't mind leaving my 8-year-old and my 13-year-old at the library. Some people may only have middle school children and not feel comfortable leaving their children there, although a library is supposed to be able to cater to a middle school child after school. Not as a babysitter, but as long as these different demographics were handled.
So as a homeschooler, do you feel that the public school, I keep saying public school because it's public, but the library is able, or rather has the resources that to help homeschoolers or to help our other children, additional resources other than what's in the schools?
Well, homeschooling is not necessarily anti-traditional school. It's a different choice. People homeschool for different reasons. Some people are religious reasons. Some people just have a non-traditional family where they travel a lot, so it's nothing bad against the Department of Education. But the library does cater to homeschoolers in that we are patrons during the hours of operations where most people aren't there. I'm an academic coach where I tutor for Math Counts, which is a middle school math program. I'm also the coach for Math Olympiad and the Academic Challenge Bowl at both the middle school and high school level. I've been spelling bee coach, and they've allowed me, when there's no other patrons, maybe a few coming in, to have my sessions there. So we do that. We use the materials, the reference materials. While we're there, we're not loud, we're extremely loud, but they cater and they let us use that. Meanwhile, there are the siblings who are there using the books, the ones who aren't in the programs who are actually using the facility the way it should be.
I like what you're saying about, for example, of course, the reading program to expand beyond the school by maybe coordinating with the school. Is this something then that you'll be able to work on then as a member of the board, to work with the Department of Education, that some of the programs that they have, that you can have this seamless continuation of their education beyond the school hours and move into the library to coordinate some of those programs?
Yeah, it's a great program. Most of the libraries are situated of the Deed After School program. And it's ideal, we master things such as reading when we teach it. So if the children who are in the Deed program, like at Marisa Martyrs, would come over and read to the younger children in the Deed program, then we're killing two birds with one stone. That opens up, for the older ones, so much more confidence for when they get into middle school. And then that can be carried on. Most high schoolers that I hear reading, a lot of them don't have, although they may be literate, they don't have the confidence to read in public or to speak in public, and that's because they weren't given the chance at the younger ages.
So are you saying that with Maritza Elementary School, of course, this is right across the street from the library, that their D program is actually extended over into the library?
They do come over and use the services, and that's important in any education system, that they be given avenues, because what happens a lot of times, kids think learning stops in the school. So they're given other avenues where they can continue to learn.
So now that's after school. So then what is your position about library hours, just library hours running either concurrently or overlapping the schools or beyond the school hours?
Well, because there's different users, I think a library needs to cater to all demographics. It doesn't necessarily need to supplement what the Department of Education is doing with grades K through 12, because there are college students who live in these remote villages, who may not be able to get to GCC and use their library to do things, say if they only go to attend classes twice a week. Then there are the elderly, and there are the computer programs. So I think the hours of operation need to stay at least to what they are now, if not to even open more. But I don't think we should limit it to just the one demographic of K through 12, because there are so many others. And that's the thrust with our children, but there are other groups who use the library as well. There are business people. I had a friend who had a meeting at DNA. He's the general manager of a company, who didn't realize how early he was, so he went into the library. If people of affluence utilize the library, then I'm not saying there's more friends of the library, more people who use it, that's just the better for the library when it comes to programs, donations, or anything like that.
Thank you. Senator, any questions or comments?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, ma'am, for stepping up and making the time and the effort to be a community leader throughout our libraries. Appreciate all the comments that you've made. I appreciate your responses to the speaker's issues. And so then I hear you saying that you would be open to studying and assessing the foot traffic to when it would be best to further support our libraries so the doors are open, that it could be at nighttime, it could be 7 days a week, it could be on Sundays, it could be what would best suit whatever that demographic picture is.
Correct.
Okay, good. Because right now I know we're running on a limited, I think it's like 2 days a week at some of our places. I do know you have a very solid crew running the libraries right now who want to do even better. Madam Speaker was there in spirit, but we were there, and so was the Vice Speaker in spirit, breaking ground for our children's library yesterday.
I saw you there.
Yeah, and it's just an exciting thing because we're finally moving forward, and so I think that's just an open door to more and more what's going to happen. But I do agree with you that there are many people who can use this library, the libraries across our island, but we do need to look at them and how should they be in 2014. And then it will be the leadership of the board, right, in collaboration with us and everybody else. Partnerships, business partnerships. Yesterday, there are many business partners. GCC was there. Everyone is there wanting to do this. So then I would think that one of the ideas you might have then is to come up with an overall plan about where you want to get and how you're going to get there. And I know there's already some documents and lots of dreams, but I look forward to everybody coming together and revitalizing that and stuff. So I always say homeschoolers work a lot harder than everybody else. So I applaud that, and for your willingness to serve.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just I know that you made a comment about the visually impaired, um, but I always make sure that we always state that it's all all levels, all skills, all abilities. Uh, we need to ensure that the facilities are open and accessible and accommodate, which means then that all the materials are just as accessible and that they have those accommodations as well. So that's really important. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you.
Madam Speaker.
Well, Ms. Reyes, I'd like to thank you very much for accepting the nomination and for being here this afternoon. So those of you in the audience and anyone else at home who are listening and watching, that you would have 10 days then to submit testimonies on behalf of Ms. Reyes. So thank you very much. Okay. The next nominee also for the library, I'd like to bring up anyone interested. Okay, I'd like to call then Mr. Kyle Mandapat. Do you, before I forget, just in case for anyone else or interested, of course, is to submit it in writing, of course, any testimonies as well. And that also goes for Ms. Reyes and then Mr. Mandapat, that if you want to submit anything in writing, you still also have the opportunity to do that in 10 days. Okay? So we have Mr. Mandapat also, who's nominated to serve as a member of the Guam Public Library system. And maybe to kind of get you started, if you can, is just tell us a little bit about yourself too, and then we would open and any other testimonies in terms of why you want to serve on this board, and then we will open it up for questions. Okay, and please state your name at the very beginning.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kyle Mandapat, and I am a radio personality with the Sorensen Media Group. Too close. I like the mic. I'm sorry. Let's scoot back, girl. Hold on, girl. I was gonna bring my own. Good now? We good now? All right. Well, thank you again for having me, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be here today. My current line of work with the Guam Public Library System goes back this time around about 2 years. I brought my children to the Dedido Library on one of the days that they were open, and had a chance to bring them around there and give them a chance to explore some of the books and some of the other great things that they have going on. And dude, I was time warped. I was brought back to the days of my childhood, where after CCD we would just go next door, wait for my mom to come pick us up, but have the opportunity to peruse and cruise through some of the materials that they would have there. When that came up, I obviously the government and you guys do a great job of keeping the library open and giving them the opportunity and the resources that they can get to keep things moving. And there's just so much more that we can do as a people. And because of that, I started work on a children's book, The Ant from Guam, and we're going to donate 100% of the sales proceeds to the public library system, hopefully just to buy more books, you know what I mean? While that whole process was going through and going on, I had a chance to talk to a lot of people in the community, whether they were corporate or just community supporters, and the support for the library is tremendous. I think a lot of people really want the library to do more things, and a lot of people want to have more access to certain things, and a lot of people really want to help, but I think a lot of people don't know exactly how to do that. And when I came on and talked with Ms. Terry and the crew over there at the library, Mr. Cameron, about what I could do to help, they were very open, and from here, since then, we've had the opportunity to raise a couple bucks towards the cause of, like I said, hopefully getting more books for whatever the case is, for whichever library they can go to. The other day, like you mentioned, Senator Yamashita, we were over at the groundbreaking for the library, the new wing, and I'm excited I think as a parent, this is one of those things that we see Guam moving forward in. And a lot of times, as parents, we sit down and think, man, what is there to do with our kids here? You know, what can we do with our kids that isn't going to cost me an arm and a leg? And I think that the library is one of those things. I think a lot of people, you know, forget about the library for whatever reason. Maybe their day-to-day life is too busy for, you know, what they're doing. I think that this is a great resource for the children as well. And for families, just to have some good time together, to get together and read some books the good old-fashioned way. You don't need an app for that or an iPad, you know what I mean? So hopefully with my involvement with the board, what I hope to do is, you know, move towards that, move more towards maybe awareness like Ms. Reyes was saying. A lot of people do need the services, but maybe don't know they're available. A lot of people would benefit from the services, but aren't aware of how to exactly get a hold of them. And hopefully with my big mouth and the great people already on the board, we can plow everything, yeah? All right, and for me, as far as my main cause of plan of attack more so, would be to work with Mr. Chris and Ms. Terry and the rest of the team over there at the library. My dad is a big advocate of the bookmobile, because growing up, he loved the bookmobile. He's super old now, but back then, it was like his thing. So from there, he's brought up several, no, you're all young, don't worry about it. He brought up the bookmobile and the enhancements that could be.
Bookmobile.
There you go, you see that?
I started it 40 years ago.
Okay, so he was talking about, you know, like how everybody is, you're not that old, don't worry. He was talking about the access to the internet, right? And how now with the library, like Ms. Reyes said, some people go in for the books, but there are those who just go in for the internet access to research on Wikipedia or whatever the case may be. With the bookmobile, I know there was a time when there was internet access. You know, let's try to see if there are ways we can expand that, or, you know, if I'm, you see what I'm saying? We can try to work towards stuff like that. You know, bringing the library in all facets together as a community. God bless Guam. God bless America.
Thank you very much, Kyle, for that. I'd like to also welcome Senator Mike Nicholas for joining us this afternoon. Also to let you know that Mr. Ron Diaz from Sorensen Media Group had sent a letter of support on your behalf, and Ms. Doris Ann Kitchetu, the VP for Southern High School PTSO, has also submitted a letter of support also on your behalf, so that's part of your packet. Gosh, you threw me off
I'm so sorry.
with all your jokes and everything, and I had my questions already all lined up, but can you just tell me again, what is it, what book, because I know you have your weekly column, your monthly column, but you have a book. What's the title of the book?
It's called The Ed from Guam, and we've actually sold out all of the first run, so the first donation should be going to the library very soon. The response was overwhelming. I had people from off-island ordering online. We had people here who were, you know, clamoring to grab them at the store locations, and just the support, like I said, for the library was there. You know what I mean? People were asking, how can I do something like this? I know since then, Tom Maxedon, some other people have made strides towards publishing stuff for the benefit of the library. And most especially from the, like I said, the corporate and community supporters. They were all like, whoa, you know what I mean? We can do this, we can help with this, you know. And yesterday at the groundbreaking, when Mr. Cameron was reading off some of the corporate supporters of the expansion project, I was very happy to see that several people who were a part of my book and supporters of the book had also moved towards this project and assisting with the library bill.
And you said that the first set had been sold already.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
you're giving all proceeds.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we want to thank you very much for that on behalf of the people of Guam, to let you know that we do appreciate your generosity, of course, to our public library system.
Thank you, ma'am.
And then because of that, I mean, such a great work. I don't have any other questions for you. I'm going to ask my colleagues if they
Really?
have any.
Because I'm on TV, I like this. We can keep going all day long.
Okay.
Well, we certainly appreciate the energy, and we always appreciate the humor, because it really does help move things along. The library is a serious issue,
Oh, yes.
and getting down to business about how to strengthen it, how to energize it, how to bring it up to 2014, and definitely the basics are needed: the information, the resources, the accessibility, the customer service. You did raise the bookmobile, and yesterday I had a good conversation with Mr. Vick who's waiting for the board to convene and pass a board resolution so they can work with Matson, who's been our corporate leader there, corporate partner, to get it back up and running. But as you talked about your dad, right? The notion, and Miss Denise also talked a little bit about it, the notion of intergenerational activities, so that whether it's the bookmobile or whether we finally get to a point where we go back to the library opening 7 days a week. When we were at GDOE, we had a lot of intergenerational programs, and I think now's the time to get back to that. And I think the library can be a really good place where some of our Manamka would really enjoy coming to the library and sharing stories, reading stories, and teaching our younger ones things, or just listening, or us listening to them, right? So that is something that, whether it's a bookmobile or whether it's activities, the whole spirit of bringing everybody together is a resource, that we must really invest in more and more. But I thank you for making the time, for giving back to Guam. I think as an author, I think that's wonderful. And as you keep going, and then the notion that you're donating everything back is very worthy, and calls for thank you, a huge thank you for that. So thank you for the investment. Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Hey, Kyle.
Hey, what's up, sir? How you doing?
I got my library card.
As do I. Awesome.
I had this for a while. I always keep it in my wallet. One of the things that I would really like, and hopefully you got my support, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
And hopefully you can, with your experience, move forward also on the library side, is, the incorporation of the technology to make the usage of the library services a little bit more, I don't want to say convenient because it's not necessarily inconvenient, but more easy for the people who are just like always on the go, So like, one of the things I would always like, or I would always think about is, I wish I could search if they had a book like that I was interested in, or I wish I could like just go somewhere and type in, a subject that I was interested in, then all their different books that they have already can kind of pop up, and then I'll be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna go stop by and pick this one up, versus me like kind of almost shooting in the dark, having to go down there and figure it out once I get there. If we can create those kind of draws where people are able to already know what they want, know that it's going to be there, and then they'll go there. I think that'll really help meet the gap in getting patrons into the library, because libraries are an incredible learning resource. But for people these days, we're very Google focused, where we want to just be able to pop it up, find it real quick, and then go and look at it. But the difference between what you find online and what you find in the library is that there's just so much more that goes into actually publishing a book.
True.
And there's so much more meaning behind that. So I'm excited about your service. I'm looking forward to what you're going to be able to contribute, and definitely on like using your experience to be able to figure out what the consumer really is looking for, and how the library can bridge that gap, and what we can do here in the legislature to help that along. Because I really think that if we're going to be able to encourage more people to get their library card, how many of you guys got your library card? Go get your library card. That's going to really help the library's mission move forward. It's going to help educate our community better. So thank you so much for stepping up.
Thanks, sir.
Since the senators encouraged everyone to get a library card, maybe everyone who walks out of here, we're going to check if you have it. If you don't, you have to make a deposit to the library, financial deposit. Anyway, I want to thank you as well for, of course, volunteering to do this. And I know you've received the Voice of the Year award, so we're hoping you'll be the voice as well for our library system. You come from the media with your backgrounds in the media, and that's how, again, you can work closely with Miss Reyes in terms of bringing more of awareness out to the community to get the people in. So both of you, of course, really bring a lot to the table. Her and her family as a primary user, you yourself, your father has set the groundwork, for you, for the love of reading and just being a lifelong learner. So we welcome, of course, your nomination, and we hope to. I would like to make sure then that even though you have 10 days to provide any testimonies, that we really want to place, of course, both your nominations on the agenda, so you can continue to work and help, of course, because you love the mic and all that, I will give you closing words if you like.
All right, thank you so much. Again, I appreciate all the great things that all of our great legislatures have done in the past, and most especially the great strides that we make today as a people. And I hope that we can continue to work together in harmony and in peace, as you guys have done for the betterment of Guam. Biba Guam. And shout out to my family there in the back. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, family members who are here to support, of course, both Mr. Mandapat and Ms. Regents, because without your support, these two would not be able to move forward in their services for the government. So thank you again. All right. We'll move on to the other nominees. Okay, let me see. All right, we have the individuals now who I will call up first before the appointee, but those who like to testify for Ms. Maria Connelley, I'd like to invite the following individuals up who signed up. And Antonia Santos. Now, you let us know if you want to come and do a testimony, please come forward. If you're here just to support, then you don't need to come up. Just let me know. You want to come up? Oh, okay. So I'll go down the line. Rosa Pablo. You want to come up? No. Michael Santos, okay. Michael Santos. To support. Antoinette Didasco. Agan. Vincent Santos. You're just to support. Oh, you want to speak? Wonderful. Please come forward. Okay. Annie Cruz. Okay. Carmen Santos. Please, thank you. Deborah Ballinger. Oh, written testimony. Okay. And Carlos Pangilinan. You're going to submit. Okay. So we'll proceed then with Mr. Santos, Vincent Santos, and Ms. Carmen Santos. So when you press the mic, please state your name and who you represent, and also whether you are in support or in opposition, okay, for the nominee.
My name is Vincent S. Santos. I'm from Santa Rita. And I'm supporting for Maria Connelley. She is my sister. I'm the youngest in the family, by the way. Maria is an individual who's just extremely very dedicated, very compassionate, very professionalism. And I'm going to use the word professionalism, especially in the being to be in the GCC board. Maria is like, how would I say that? It's like a seed. S-E-E-D, seed. You know, you throw the seed, it falls down on the rock, it grows, and it doesn't produce fruits. Then the second seed falls on a good property, on a good land, and it produces. Well, Maria is like that. She falls down on a good soil. She has a professional, good, you do have copies of her educational background, previous, I forgot what was the last one that she was working for. But she is a very dedicated person. If you want to count somebody, Maria is the one that you need. She has a very numerous years of services in HR Human Resources, both federal, private, and I believe, I don't know, in government Guam too, I think in the Department of Labor. One of the things that I was just talking back there is the program of this apprentice program. Man, if you support her on that area, just give it to her and let her do the work, because that's her knowledge. Let her work, and she's willing to do it. That's all I have to say, and I support my sister Maria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Santos. Carmen?
provide testimony in support of Ms. Connelley. On behalf of the Guam Community College, I respectfully submit this written testimony in full support of the appointment of Ms. Maria S. Connelley to the GCC Board of Trustees. Ms. Connelley is very familiar with Guam Community College, having served on the Board of Trustees from 2002 to 2004, while she was employed in the private sector as a human resources consultant. Ms. Connelley's professional background includes having been employed in human resources, personal management leadership, positions for Commander Naval Forces Marianas for over 30 years. She also served as director of the Guam Department of Labor from 2004 to 2010, where she helped to align the Guam Department of Labor service delivery with the U.S. Department of Labor Office of Apprenticeship and Regional Workforce Development Council of Micronesia. In this capacity, she worked with GCC to integrate job training and workforce development, helping to improve training opportunities for many island residents. I was also fortunate to have worked with her on the Civilian Military Task Force Labor Subcommittee to assess Guam's capacity for the military buildup. Ms. Connelley's current position as President and CEO of Pacific Human Resources Services, Inc. adds to her wealth of experience in managing human resources and workforce development in Guam and Micronesia. This experience makes her the perfect fit for the GCC Board of Trustees. She knows workforce development and how to network with federal and regional agencies. These talents will be instrumental in the GCC Board being able to advance the college's mission of workforce development for Micronesia. As such, I fully support Ms. Connelley's appointment to the GCC Board of Trustees. Thank you for this opportunity to submit this testimony in her favor.
Thank you very much. Also, we did receive then, yes, a letter of support from Ms. Deborah Ballender, who is the chairperson of the GCC's Board of Trustees. We received a letter also support from Edith De Leon Guerrero from CNMI, Secretary of Labor, and another letter of support from Grace Donaldson, also in support of Ms. Connelley. I want to thank you very much for your testimony. And I'd like to invite the nominee to the front, Ms. Oh, is there anybody else who'd like to testify? Okay, so yes, can you please come up and then we'll just have this, have you sign on in giving testimony. Just press the button and then.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of. Okay, I'll check with Kyle later. But anyway, good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of this committee. My name is Greg Perez. I'm a resident of Tamuning, and I'm here in support of Maria Connelley's nomination to the Guam Community College Board of Trustees. I know Maria to be an experienced, well-educated, well-trained person, and I know she is a goal-oriented, results-oriented person. In her experience in both the public and private sector, I think she brings a wealth of knowledge, and I believe she'll be a great asset to the college. She has been a board member several terms ago, and I had the opportunity to work with her, and again was able to see her ability to work with different members of the board, members of the college community, members of the general public. Her dynamics are something to desire, and again, her productivity will be evident as she goes through in the course of the year or in the course of her term as a board member. And so, in closing, I'd like to say I support Ms. Connelley and request your favorable consideration and appointment. Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. So, Ms. Connelley. So, just press the mic, of course, and yeah, you don't have to be that close.
name is Maria Connelley, a nominee to the Guam Community College Board of Trustees. Carmen, thank you. I was thinking of how am I to let you know of my background and history and work experience, and thank you for providing that to the to the chair and the committee. I do want to thank my family, my brother. I was very surprised and very pleased that he came up. I was really shocked, but I do want to acknowledge the presence of my sister-in-law Antonia, my nephews and nieces, and my friends and my parish friends from the community. And I also want to acknowledge there are several people here. I mean, like Greg Paris, who came from the community, and other Grace Donaldson and other people. It is true, I was at the community college 10 years ago. I resigned to accept the position of the Guam Department of Labor. Of the 50 years of service, 40 years of those are really as a public servant, working both for the federal government and with the government of Guam. And I've been currently working in the private sector, so I have at least 10 years working in the private sector. The community college, I believe, under the leadership of Mary, she's been doing a fantastic job. I've seen a lot, tremendous, as far as programs to improve, for example, the apprenticeship program. I didn't get all the stats, but I remember several years ago there were only very, very few employers and apprentices, but now that number has tremendously increased, only because, again, there is a law that the legislature introduced regarding the Guam Registered Apprenticeship Program that gives incentive to employers for hiring our local people. In returning to the community college division, I have as far as first internally, as far as locally, is I see, again, having worked at the Guam Department of Labor and working very closely with the various collaborators of the Workforce Investment Act, the federal government provides millions of dollars to the government agencies, and there's still so much opportunity for us, at least for the college, to align with these government agencies. And first and foremost, I really would like to see the incumbent worker. There is a program called Incumbent Worker, where we can actually use the federal funding to work with employers like Greg Paris and work with construction, the employers in the construction industry, and how can we maximize the WIA funding to equip our current workforce, the employees are working there, so that we continue to look at ways of not depending so much on the foreign workers. In a regional level, I know that their mission is to provide quality education and career and technical education in Micronesia. Mary is known not only in Guam and throughout Micronesia, but she is known for her talents and all the accomplishments she did at the community college. And I feel that there's a great opportunity for us to work with our neighboring islands, like for example, CNMI, Edith de Leon Guerrero, and including the different islands in Micronesia. There are opportunities for us as far as the college to collaborate and work, and how can we work together so that people who are interested in migrating to Guam, how can we maximize their federal dollars or their funding so that we prepare them before they actually come to Guam first? You know what I mean? So those are just some of the things in my mind as far as thoughts of things we're able to do, things we're able to, as far as collaborating with the various local government agencies receiving federal funding for the purpose of workforce development and training. The young lady, Reyes, mentioned something about parents and training, and that is very true. That's very, to me, we do so much for the children in the classroom, but from elementary school to middle school to high school, post-secondary, but what is it that we're doing for the parents? I mean, we're doing so much to change, but we have not done anything to sort of help and change the environment when they go home. And and there are, I'm sure that there are grants available to assist public health or even other government agencies to ensure that these parents are doing, receiving the appropriate training. And basically, that's just very briefly some of the things, while sitting and waiting to be called. I still have, I'm sure once I meet Mary that there'll be, I'm really excited returning to the community college and working with her, and also working with the government. Although it's been since 2000,
continue to help the community college. And I think you're at an institution, of course, that's definitely moving forward and is, invaluable to our labor force here on the island. That now that since you've been there, and is there anything else other than, what you were able to assist in steering, the college, of course, to help with the workforce, shaping Guam's workforce. I know you worked with Dr. Akata mentioned in her letter, in working together at the and formulating, of course, what the college basically would face in terms of workforce for the military buildup. Can you share some of those comments that you've provided with the college in terms of the impact to the college?
Yeah. Well, before I came to the Department of Labor, there was hardly any apprenticeship program here on the Guam. And now the community college is thriving. And I believe if the legislature, the Guam Registered Apprenticeship Program, that law is going to sunset December of this year. So if the legislature will extend that, and it will encourage businesses to hire apprentices. And, we all know training is very expensive. So first and foremost is to look at that incentive and extend the law to allow employers to hire more apprentices so they get an incentive as far as their GRT. I believe that if we work very closely with the mayors and reach out, and there are people in the community who are looking for employment, but they just don't really know how to go about, and making it much simpler. And in my mind, working with the mayors and also working with the HRD that receives the funding for incumbent workers, that's one way in my mind as far as, to look at that. Holistically, I also know that right now the Department of Education, all the different institutions, they have their own goals and missions. But are we looking at it together? How are we? I mean, we need to look at the child holistically and not just by bits and pieces. How do we connect so that that particular person, that's one, in my mind, that's one way of aligning the different programs, aligning the funding, and really aligning the individuals. I know that surely for such a small island, and we know everyone, I'm sure we can do, the institutions by working together, and the employers, that we can grow our own nurses, we can grow our own health professionals, we can grow our own engineers, we can grow our own construction workers. We can do that. And the reason why I'm saying that, and again, you gotta, it's been many, many years ago, but working with the federal government when I first started it, I mean, most of the people who were working there were stateside hires. And I worked there long enough to see that the Navy provided different programs to train the local chamorros. And by the time I left, the federal government weren't hiring any people from all island from the states. And of course, at that time too, there was only one college, which is the Territorial College of Guam, but now we have the University of Guam. We do have, in my mind, we do have the university, and we do have the community college to provide the academics and to provide the training that these people need. The people need to get the academic background for them to be able to work in those occupations that are currently available for outsiders.
You hit it on the head here when you say that we need to align, of course, programs, fundings, and individuals. But somehow, of course, we're still not enticing a lot of our students and the local people really to apply. In particular, let's say the construction work. There's this, we're going to see a build-up, military build-up here. And our understanding is that the individuals that, of course, that would be hired are going to be from some countries entice, our people to consider some of these jobs that would be available. Maybe I realize short term, but I think long term they could start to replace, other workers as you say, as we grow all of the different industries, the individuals for those industries.
Many years ago, I would say to you that our people are not interested in working for the construction industry, but that's not true. I have been in both ends. I have been in with the employer where, because all those employers with H-2Bs or even professional H-1s, they all had to show proof that they advertised locally, and you'd be surprised at the number of people applying for those jobs. It's not that there aren't people interested. There are a lot of people interested in those jobs, but they're not qualified. So those are the people that I'm saying that we have people who are interested in those positions, but they do not possess the skills and the training that they need to qualify. So so that's why I said earlier that we need to look at the incumbent training program. The incumbent training is, let's take a look at all those. For example, I took one of the Department of Labor occupational employment report, and I looked at how many helpers in the construction industry, how many other lower level trades, and there are a lot. So those are people we should be tapping, working with employers and encouraging them to use the funding that's available at HRD or the Department of Labor or whatever, and send those people so that they'll be trained to move up to the next position. The other thing is, we know that the construction industry, Greg knows this better too, is that it has its peaks and valleys because you have projects. And these projects have an expiration date. And I know that if we work very closely with the Guam Contractors Association, they know that Watts' project is going to expire in 6 months and another project is coming up and all those. In my mind, if there's someone who really looks holistically, and they know, GCA knows how many people will be laid off at a particular time, what are the traits, and at the same time, they also know who's getting the contracts. So really, somebody should be there to be preparing, to be moving these people around.
So who could that someone be? Should it be the government? Should it be the Guam Contractors Association?
Well, I believe if I'm saying the government, if we work the Guam Contractors Association and help them, I don't know how, but I'm saying that needs to be done, and who's going to do it? I mean, it's possible. I mean, it's so basically that's what I'm saying. They have all the information, they have all the data, but who should be looking at that? Who should be looking at it to make sure that the people over here who are going to be losing their jobs will not lose their jobs because they're dislocated workers, we're going to send them to work for another company who's preparing because, and those are just, again, those are to me, ideas and concept, and it is something that we can achieve, but it requires for everyone to have the desire to want to see it work. And the other thing is, a lot of people think that employers like to hire H-2B. That's not true. They don't want to hire H-2B. It's very expensive. They pay so much. You have to pay room and board. You have to do this. No. They prefer local people. But there are a lot of people. I have seen it because I have advertised for jobs in my former employer, and from clerk typist to warehouse, they want to be pipe fitters or ship fitters. So how do we take these people who really have the desire? That's what we need to do. Go after those people who have the desire to be retrained into something that a better paying job.
That is definitely a very different twist versus incentivizing some of these individuals, like our students graduating from our high schools who also concurrently receive GCC certificates. Everyone always thinks that would be the best thing to do. It's just, what do we offer them? Similar to the apprenticeship program, to allow them to hire, but then at the same time, we provide some financial assistance as well to assist them. So and you're suggesting, yes, we expand that program beyond, of course, its expiration. And then the other, of course, is someone, an overall coordinator, so to speak, to really look at all the contracts. That's, definitely something, again, to most definitely, I think, whoever the chairperson is for the Department of Labor, a suggestion, for them. Thank you so much for your insight. Senator, do you have any questions?
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Ms. Connelley, thank you again for stepping up and your willingness to provide time and leadership and effort. And back in the 80s, you and I were on a school to work committee. And I think if we went back and we thought about the who's and the what's, and if GDOE and GCC and EOG articulated, and remember that group, we had Guam contractors, we had Guam chair, we had everybody at the table. And there was a plan. And I think as you talk about ensuring that all the different pieces in response to the speaker's questions, it is through collaboration and partnerships, but it's also beginning in middle school to identify what is it they want to do and then ensuring they get the foundational skills and competencies to do that. I think the very pointed question of who's responsible, I think, is an important question. And I think the notion of job coaches is what we came up with in the 80s. And GDOE at that time, the curriculum office, did a lot of work. And what that looked like, what the pay would be, who was going to do it, and what funds, both federal and local. We had an excellent plan, and unfortunately, it wasn't rooted. So when a lot of us went away, it just simply died, right? But I agree that AHRD and Department of Labor and GDOE need to be in concert because that is the human capital aspect. Get them early, motivate them, and make sure they learn. And then they're out in the world of work, where they see their value, where they get reinforced, where they continue to learn. And and the great leaders like Greg Paris, wants quality human capital. So that's where we come into play to work together to do that. And at that time, the very first time we did that survey, the arts were the top choice of our kids. But then the next year, it was construction work, right? So I really think it's, as you go to the board, the GCC trustees, who I think are very fortunate to have you, I think this issue can be raised over again, and how do we relook at it, and how do we address the human capital issue, which, I will say this again and again, has to start early childhood. It has to start at the very beginning, right, with the motivation, the character development, all that. But I appreciate your insight. I look forward to you taking back the seat at GCC, and I'm very pleased and honored that you are willing to do that. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Hi, Ms. Connelley. I really like what you had to share. You really caught my attention there because, one of the things that has always been on my mind, not only with GCC but EOG, and I'm glad we have a EOG nominee here to talk to as well, is I really believe that our institutions of higher learning are not only supposed to meet a mission of educating our people post-secondary, but also they're supposed to be the incubators for research, development, and supply-side economic growth. One of the things that I noticed when I was traveling back when I was working for Bank of Guam was some of the towns that I would go to for my trainings. You go to this town and you ask, well, what's here? And I went to this one town called St. Cloud, Minnesota. They have a very, very robust university there. That's pretty much it. But the university itself was enough to attract all these corporate headquarters there because they wanted to pull off the talent coming out of the schools. And so I really wanted to kind of put that out there for you because of what you just shared about the contractors and being able to figure out how to bridge that gap in contract and labor. Those are the kind of things where we need to be thinking about how to have the institutions reaching out and actually igniting or at least being a magnet for economic development. If we can have more supply side type of programs being developed where we're going to be able to go out and attract outside corporations and say, hey, look, you know what, our university or our community college is developing these type of certified individuals. We're the gateway to Asia. Why don't you guys come out here and give us a chance? I think that we can really do that. I mean, not only is our tax structure here incredibly favorable for business investment, but if we can just have the workforce to be able to put those two things together and say, hey, give us a shot, I think that would be something that we can really go for. So I'm very excited about your nomination. I really like the way you think. And you have my support, and I hope that we can work on that together.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is there anything else, Ms. Connelley, that you would like to add?
Well, I just look forward to the confirmation, and I look forward returning to the community college and working with Mary.
Thank you, and thank you again for volunteering to, be on the board, also to serve on the board with the community college. We appreciate all of your contributions, and we will compile our committee report, of course, with the recommendation to do confirm. So, thank you very much. So, one more appointee, and that will be the appointment of Mr. Elvin Chiang to be a member of the University of Guam Board of Regents. And the individuals who signed up to testify is Tony Sanford, or let me see first of all, then is that, I'm just going down my list. Chris Felix is here. The president, of course, is here. Mr. President, please come forward. We also have Justice Carlito. And let me see. Let me see, one more seat. John Onidera. I'm sorry? Oh, okay. You have a written testimony? Oh, okay. You can read it as well, or you just want to, okay, so, and let me see, I have two more, so after we're done with the four of you, then we'll call two more individuals. We have Zenny, of course, and Stephen, so, but we'll start with the four of you, and we'll go ahead then and start with Mr. President, since this is your university.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. It's with a great deal of pleasure and honor that I support the nomination of Elvin Chiang as the newest member of the Board of Regents. He came to Guam in 1974, has made this island his home for the past 40 years. He's a highly respected executive financial advisor and licensed CPA. He has taught accounting courses as an assistant professor for the University of Guam. Previously served as a member and chair of UOG's School of Business and Public Administration Advisory Council and a member of the Guam Community College Advisory Council. Mr. Chiang recognizes the value of higher education and seeks to contribute to the university through his service. The Board of Regents is constructed in a certain way. The recommendations come from the Regent Nominating Committee, and frequently they're looking for people with various kinds of expertise. And so we're very happy that with your approval, Mr. Chiang will fit that bill, give us a little bit more financial acumen so we can help get more resources, because that's always the issue. And you can also be helpful in that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay. Okay, I know I had called Tony up earlier, but she did submit a letter of support, a written letter. So, Mr. Felix.
Yes, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I'm Christopher Felix. I'm a regent and resident of Tamuning, and I just wanted to speak in favor of Elvin. Elvin is a friend, neighbor, and everything else. We've known each other many years. He's kind of young. He came here a few years after I did, but Elvin, as a member as a regent of the university, as our president said, there's expertises that blend, and Elvin will be just the perfect, I couldn't think of a better person to serve as a regent and to fit with our family there. His personality, his smoothness, but his intelligence,
Madam Speaker and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Philip Cardelito. I'm here in my personal capacity. First of all, just in terms of my acquaintance with Elvin and his wife Alice. Elvin, I first met Elvin when he was the Chief Financial Officer for Sagalapac. And for those people not familiar with Sagalapac, this company had close to 700 employees back in the late 80s and early 90s. And Elvin was the Chief Financial Officer. I was the corporate counsel, and I see in the back that the former general manager, Mr. Otto Gerstenlauer, who continues to live here in Guam, is also present to show his support for Elvin and his wife, Maricor. I've also had the occasion, as the president said, he was an assistant professor. At the time, I was counsel to the Board of Regents. Dr. Underwood was academic vice president at the time. And he continued when he went into the private sector. He helped establish or co-founded Ernst & Young here, and my firm used them in terms of their accounting services, and myself personally, and I continue to use Ernst & Young. And so I just say that for the record because I do have a personal acquaintance, and I'm here to testify in that capacity. As I pointed out in my written testimony, Elvin brings a lot of expertise in terms of in finance. He will be, I think, a great asset to President Underwood and his management team. He is an extremely competent person. I've dealt with him, of course, firsthand in the many complexities in terms of some of the transactions that we engaged in. And I'm very enthusiastically supporting him because I know that the requirements, so I have some basic knowledge of the requirements of the university. I think he will be an asset in terms of its contributions, not only in terms of budget, but also management. Human resources is in a large part a major asset of the university. And Elvin understands the need for quality personnel. And as I've stated earlier, or in the written testimony, with the limited resources that we have in government, he understands of doing more with less, and he's an excellent person who I feel would make an excellent contribution, would greatly support the president, and I think be an asset to the university. I feel that really he's of the caliber of Maria Connelley, who we just heard before this committee, and in terms of having that type of caliber in our higher education institution will be a tremendous asset and benefit to our community. And so with that, Madam Chair and members of the committee, I would wholeheartedly support Elvin Chiang's nomination and confirmation to the Board of Regents of the University of Guam. And I thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak before you this evening.
You're very welcome. Mr. Ondera.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is John Onadera, partner with Ernst & Young. I can't really say any more about Elvin, but what I can say is that Elvin was my professor at the University of Guam back in the 80s, and he's been a partner with me since 2006. So what I can say is that during my time with him, he's the most intelligent and has the highest integrity. So I fully support Elvin Chiang's nomination.
Thank you very much. Does anyone here in the panel have questions for those who testified? Okay, well, thank you, gentlemen. I'd like to call the other two who've also signed up, Ms. Zenny, and I also have Mr. Casper Bauer. And while you're working your way up here, we also have written testimony that was submitted by Mr. N. Oscar Miyashita on your behalf, Greg Kosanki, also a letter of support from CEO President of the Bank of Guam, Ms. Lu Leon Guerrero, John Shen, President of Prestige Automobile, also has submitted letters So we'll go ahead and start with you, Zen. Yes, press the red button and then you may speak.
All right. Madam Speaker and members of the committee, my name is Zani Nays, and I'm the Controller of the University of Guam and currently the Acting Vice President for Finance and Administration. Mr. Elvin Chiang is a colleague in my profession as a certified public accountant. He is a longtime supporter of the School of Business in the discipline of accounting at the university, and he's a strong advocate of accountability, transparency, and professional ethics, and I'll be really honored to work with him as a member of the Board of Directors of the university. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Casper Bauer, Stephen.
Madam Chairperson, Speaker, and members of the committee, my name is Stephen Casperbauer, and I think sitting last, it's all been said in a sense, but I'd like to relay a story of when I served on the College of Business and Public Administration Advisory Committee with Mr. Chiang, and there was an opportunity to be able to secure a matching fund from the University of Guam for the College of Business Administration building. And there were some challenges in trying to figure out how to work with it. And through his leadership, they were able to secure with the group the USDA financing for the new College of Business Administration, and also rescue those funds. That's just as an example of how he did it. You would never see how, with the team, how he takes the credit for himself. Is very low-key in that way and builds up the organization. I'd also like to comment on behalf of my mom and dad, Lawrence and Carmen Casperbauer, who couldn't attend. My dad is off island and my mom is attending to other obligations. But they would also like to just put in their words of confidence and their words of support for this nomination. Outside, I think many of us, and myself personally, have had a chance to meet socially, business-wise, and in the community with Elvin as an educator, as a business person, and as somebody who can really represent the other side of the University of Guam, which is the land grant side of it, where it's supposed to get out and do community extension projects. And through his involvement in the community, he certainly represents that philosophy of a land grant university. And thank you for the opportunity to make these comments.
You're very welcome. Any questions for these two? Thank you very much. So then we'll bring up then the nominee, Mr. Elvin Chiang, to the table. And Mr. Chiang, if you have anything, of course, to say on to us here, to appoint you.
Okay, good afternoon, Madam Chair, Vice Speaker, and Dr. Yamashita and Senator. First of all, I feel really being honored to be considered a nominee for the University of Guam Board of Regents. I first came to Guam in 1974 and have pretty much made Guam my home since, except for the 3 years I spent in the U.S. Before coming to Guam, I have worked in Hong Kong and worked in Japan. I'm a CPA by profession, and alongside with my professional career, I have also fairly active in the community services, including serving various educational organizations, such as St. John's School Board of Trustees, Advisory Council of SBPA of the university, and Advisory Council of GCC, and Chinese School Foundation Board, etc. Knowing that University of Guam is the highest learning center for this entire region, and it builds our future leaders, I would really like to contribute, no matter how small, to this fine institute and its worthy causes. With that, Madam Speaker and Senators, and also to all my old friends here today and those turning their testimonies, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all very much for your time, and I promise you I will do my very best serving the university. Sijus Masi.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chiang. Having heard, of course, not support you, plus all of the other written testimonies. I mean, how could anyone argue against the governor's choice and support from a justice, president of the university, CPAs? Oh my gosh! I mean, who else more honest than those individuals? So I'm not going to say anything and make any more mistakes with my numbers here. So I'm going to trust you, and I'm going to ask my colleagues if they have any questions.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Speaker.
Sir, thank you for your willingness to carve out time and provide leadership to the University of Guam. I echo what Madam Speaker just said. I mean, there are many fine things that have been stated, and I thank you for continuing to be a part of our island and our island leadership. I do ask that when you take a seat up at the Regents, become that, and as you balance the need for finances, financial leadership, that we always remember that at the end of the day, it's about human capital.
Yes, I certainly will remember.
And so in saying that, as you all make decisions about the University of Guam as a land grant institution, that we really do need to return to the whole teaching concept. And I really do believe the School of Education really needs some support. And we need to strengthen and fortify all aspects of teaching to include early childhood education. I think that's a real critical piece that we keep putting to the side and keep waiting until we have a dean, and now we do. And so now we have a dean, and now we have different leadership. And so I'm not going to ask you questions about it right now, but I am suggesting that that is a real critical piece of policy that needs to be revisited and does need to be strengthened. If indeed we want the University of Guam to realize their mission of what they're supposed to be doing for this part of the region and our island, because it needs to get better. So again, I'm not going to engage in a dialogue, but I am sharing with you that is that's really important.
Thank you so much for your advice. Points well taken.
Mr. Chiang, with the who's who of favorable testimonies that you've gotten from many leaders throughout the island, it's incredibly impressive, and I'm very glad that you're going to be helping us up at the university. You know, not too long ago, I was a university student, and you know, I shared earlier one of my hopes with the nominee for the GCC Board of Trustees about how our higher institutions, I'm hoping, can become more robust in their ability to pump out graduates who would help attract industries to our island, rather than just graduates who meet demand here on our island. Because as we continue to meet demand, that would always be important. But to develop that supply side chain, I think, is something that is a step that I think we haven't taken yet at the higher institution level. And I really would like for us to kind of push in that direction. But one of the things that kind of concerns me up at the university is, ever since my time, all the way up till today and going into next year, tuition at the university has just constantly been going up. And it's one of those situations where the cost to get a college degree is rising faster than the ability for our consumers and our people to be able to keep up. And while enrollment has been going up at the university, ideally for me, I would love to see a university that's priced at that sweet spot where people where a high schooler who gets in at his freshman year can think of college as a real opportunity that he can afford, regardless of what his station is going to be in life when he graduates. And so this is one of those things that I kind of wanted to bring up with you, because going into the board as one of the regents, the issue of tuition and tuition increases is going to be in front of you. And I know that in your capacity with your professional background and knowing numbers, you're going to be able to determine the cost benefit and the value added aspects of the tuition increase. But I would like to implore you to also, as Senator Yamashita intimated about the human capital side, but this time with respect to the student, and how if we can get the university to be able to keep in mind that higher tuition rates result in less students being able to afford it. And I would like just to put that out there for you to think about. I remember when I was going to school there, sir, the cost per credit hour was about $60 a credit hour. And now I think it's 4 times that at least. I've lost track already. And the tuition increases at the time when I was going there was justified in order to pay for the new buildings that they put up, but it's just been going up every single year after that, compounded at a 10% rate, you know, and so that means that every 7 years it's going to double. So I'm just really concerned about it. I just wanted to put that out there for you to consider, and with your financial background and with your vested interest in the island, I'm hoping that you can be a voice for the other side of the coin about how that might be, how that might start being a little detrimental to the idea of developing a supply side type of educational institution for our island to benefit from. Thank you, though, sir.
Thank you very much for enlightening advice. Like Dr. Yamashita mentioned earlier, University of Guam is a land grant institution, one of the 106 university in the United States and its territories. And it has basically a three-pronged mission. Aside from a resident institution, also need to pay attention to the research as well as the community services. So all these things have to be taken into consideration at the overall mission for the university as a whole.
Thank you, sir.
Well, I'd like to thank you very much for stepping up to the plate and responding to the need of somebody of your background and caliber to serve at the University of Guam. We hope then that you'll be able to take the university from good to great. That's, you know, what they're definitely moving towards. You have 6 years to do this. So as Senator Yamashita said, is that instead of asking you questions, really now is to give you the opportunity to get your feet wet, do some research as well to see what you can do to help the university. 6 years, I'm sure that, you know, if you decide that you want to continue again to serve another 6 years, who knows? But definitely thank you for wanting to give back to the community, knowing somebody of your background. You must be a very busy person, but yet you've managed to, you know, to participate in the community in various capacities. So we thank you. And by the same token as well, I don't think you're going to get anyone who would object, you know, to your nomination. So we look forward to having you confirm before the end of this month.
Yeah, I would just like to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to serve the people of Guam, and also will not disappoint all the friends here to support me today. Yeah, I will do my very best to serve the university.
Thank you very much.
Sejus Masi.
So we've completed all of the appointments, and we now would turn our attention to Bill number 300, which is introduced by our Vice Speaker, and that is relative to allowing trainees under the nursing training program to agree to accept employment with a private hospital on Guam as a condition of selection and enrollment in the program. Those that we have who submitted, written rather, signed up to provide testimony is Alan Anilla. I wasn't too sure. Fontanilla. Okay, please, Alan, come and take a seat, and Margaret Hattori. And before, of course, both of you provide any testimony, I'm going to ask the Vice Speaker, the primary sponsor, to give us a briefing on the bill itself, 300.
Madam Speaker, this probably is the shortest bill I have ever introduced in my entire life. It amends a current statute with 3 words: or private hospitals. Currently in the statute, trainees who receive scholarships from the university are required to reimburse the government by taking employment at the public health system, GMH, I guess it's now behavioral wellness. We'll have to make that amendment there. The Department of Behavioral Wellness Center. School counselors, Department of Education, GCC. And already in the statute it says or private clinics, but there was concern as to whether or not that included hospitals. So for absolute clarification, I've added the following words, or private hospitals.
Thank you very much. So we'll go ahead with the testimony then, Mr. Fontanilla.
Half a day and good evening, Speaker Mandapat and members of the committee. My name is Alan Fontanilla, and I'm the Chief Nursing Officer for the Guam Regional Medical City. On behalf of the Guam Regional Medical City, thank you, Madam Chair, and for the opportunity to participate in the hearing. And thank you, Vice Speaker Benjamin Cruz, for introducing Bill number 300. GRMC supports this legislation and recommends favorable consideration by the committee and the legislature. There are a number of practical reasons we support this measure, and I will discuss each of them briefly. One, the measure allows our local nursing graduates to gain the solid professional experience they need to be successful in their chosen careers. As we move forward to opening the new hospital in the coming months, I can personally attest to you to the fact that GRMC has been diligent in preparing the best possible care for the people of Guam and the region. In this journey, GRMC is honored to have been considered by many of our recent University of Guam graduates as the hospital where they would like to practice. And for their interest, we thank them. As part of the GRMC, they will be working with a cadre of highly competent and well-trained doctors, nurses, and allied health professionals. Local nurse grads will work in an environment where their skills and training will be valued, and the practical application of such skills and training will be supported with the latest in technology and management practice. GRMC has already begun the process of bringing in many specialized medical professionals from throughout the mainland United States in order to address the needs of the people of Guam. As a result, our local grads will be exposed to a diverse workplace and become accustomed to the values, norms, and traditions typical of hospitals in other parts of the country. Number two, the measure will help to develop and maintain the local pool of qualified nurses, thereby benefiting the local medical community. A skilled workforce is essential to supporting the entire medical community. By allowing university graduates to repay service credit at the new hospital, they are afforded an option to develop their skills on Guam. And by remaining on Guam, they will help keep a robust pool of talent from which employers can recruit. While we all are aware of the challenges Guam has in competing for nurses nationally, it is even more challenging to recruit nurses with actual work experience. A cursory view of the Guam Memorial Hospital's staffing pattern will show that the vast majority of nurse vacancies are not for recent graduates with no experience, but for nurse positions that normally require at least 2 to 3 years of professional experience. The third point I want to make is the measure merely clarifies the existing policy of the government. Prior to the passage of Public Law 2622 in 2001, repayment for service credit under the nurse training program was limited to just the Guam Memorial Hospital. The law was changed so that service credit repayment could be covered through employment at all of Guam's public and private healthcare facilities, including private clinics. Bill 300 merely updates the law to reflect what few in 2001 imagine would ever happen today, that is the creation of a new hospital. This measure simply clarifies the existing policy. For the reasons presented above, Guam Regional Medical City reiterates its support of Bill number 300, but would also like to include for the record Guam Regional Medical City's efforts to develop our local workforce beyond what this simple yet important legislation seeks to accomplish. Through a partnership with both the university and the Guam Community College, we fully intend to provide experiential opportunities to nurses and allied health professionals throughout the course of their training, not just after. We desire formal affiliation agreements with both institutions to open our facility to students and faculty to enhance their learning experience. Further, we are also looking at ways to accommodate and encourage qualified professionals from GRMC to partner with both the university and Guam Community College on a part-time basis as members of their faculty. This would allow each institution's programs to expand and share experiences and expertise only to benefit the young men and women aspiring to be tomorrow's healthcare leaders. Again, I thank you for the opportunity to participate in this hearing and to lend our support for Bill number 300. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Margaret Hattori.
Hello. Thank you very much. We're last but not least. My name is Margaret Hattori Uchima, and I'm the current Dean of the School of Nursing and Health Sciences at the University of Guam. The University of Guam School of Nursing and Health Sciences nursing program provides education for nursing students to obtain their baccalaureate degree. Upon earning their BSN and successfully passing the National Council Licensure Examination for Registered Nurses, the NCLEX-RN, our graduates are eager to become employed. The Guam Memorial Hospital Authority has been the main source of both clinical experience and employment for our graduates. We're appreciative of their ongoing support for our nursing students. However, with the large number of graduates, it's impractical to expect that one agency would employ all the graduates of our program. It's important to consider the skill mix and experience levels of nursing staff providing care to patients in the acute care setting. Healthcare providers are cognizant of the importance of a balance between experienced and novice nurses. UOG graduates have also obtained employment at private agencies such as clinics and home health agencies. However, for the vast majority of new graduates, employment in an acute care setting such as GMHA and now GRMC is the preferred choice. Working in the acute care setting provides an excellent foundation for skill development and exposes graduates to a broad range of patients. In the past several years, it has become more difficult for our graduates to find employment. This follows a national trend for new graduate nursing employment. According to the American Association of Colleges of Nursing, in 2011, for new BSN graduates, the average rate of employment 4 to 6 months after graduation is 88% nationwide, with a 77% rate in the western states, so it's lower. In 2013, our program graduated 30 students. To date, 26 are licensed nurses, licensed RNs. By March 2014, only 11 had been hired by the Guam Memorial Hospital, with a graduate employment rate of only 47%. An additional 4 were hired by the end of May 2014, so almost a full year after graduation. The other licensed nurse graduates were hired in private clinics and home health settings, raising the employment rate to 89%. All 30 of our 2013 graduates remain on island. But this delayed employment and difficulty in obtaining a job causes hardship to our graduates and is a concern for the program. The UOG nursing program is in support of this legislation. The legislation currently allows for a broad range of employment options, including private clinics. It would be reasonable and practical to allow the nursing training program graduates to consider employment with a private hospital on Guam. Graduates would welcome the additional source of potential employment. The majority of our graduates do remain on island and want to become productive members of the healthcare workforce. They have a strong desire to serve the people of Guam and to give back to the community. Passing this legislation would allow the nurse training program recipients greater job opportunities and will help them to achieve their goal. Thank you very much for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Mr. Vice Speaker.
I don't think I could have said it any better than she just did, so I will not ask any questions.
Wow, that's pretty huge. Senator? Yeah, you're not kidding. Well, I do have a question. And that's for Mr. Fontanilla. Your closing remarks on your testimony, in which you desire, of course, to have formal arrangements with both of our educational institutions. Do you have that? Have you started to negotiate with them to have that conversation with the university and GCC?
In fact, we had done so, Madam Speaker. I've had a good opportunity and wonderful opportunity of meeting with the Dean and the Coordinator of Health Sciences for the Guam Community College. And in addition to that, of course, we've had some job fairs conducted as well in both schools. And so we would just need to formalize that at some point when our hospital is
My name is Carlos Pangolin, and I'm the Community Relations Officer with the Guam Regional Medical City. Just to kind of add to what Mr. Fontanella said, we actually have, we're looking at the MOU between GMHA and the university as a starting point of discussion. So this has been something that began months ago. I would say probably in April. So, you know, we've been looking, we've always intended to engage the university in some official capacity. It's just a matter of us developing our programs internally. Just to let you know, we're putting together a recent nurse graduate program modeled after Sharp Hospitals in San Diego. Alan here is a registered nurse, but he's also someone who has a lot of experience in standards. He's worked with the Joint Commission, so he brings a lot to the table in not only in the acute hospital care setting, but also the processes and all of the programs that are associated with nursing. So, you know, we're very excited about it, and I can assure you, we're moving forward with these things.
Okay, and then of course the second thing you've provided in your testimony is to be able to have your nurses teach at both institutions on a part-time basis. Now, so my question for Mr. Torre is that there was a time when there was some difficulty in accepting more students interested in the program, the nursing program, or even moving forward, having to wait until the following year for courses to be offered. Do you see this as a way to be able to, you know, supplement some of your faculty at the university, and whether that would not affect, of course, the status of the university or your accreditation with, you know, anyone teaching as a part-time
Right.
employee?
Well, actually, and we're very happy they partnered with us very early. Actually, even before the ground was broken, we'd already been partnering with their organization. But it's kind of complicated because, in fact, with the legislature's support of the UOG budget, we've been able to build up our faculty ranks. So we're not as short as we had always been in faculty. A large part of that is due to Guam Memorial Hospital. A lot of their nurses do work for us as adjunct faculty, which is what we had been talking to GRMC about. There are a few areas, particularly our obstetrics, any of the maternal child health areas, there are not enough nurses with a master's degree. And so we have already mentioned to them that that's our one severe shortage area. And in fact, accreditation requires faculty with a master's degree in nursing. And so that's our area that we're so short. And so we have talked about them possibly helping us in that arena. But back to your question about whether or not the problem with being able to increase the number of students that we accept, it's not just a matter of enough nurses. A large part of it also was facility. For instance, at GMH, we only have one unit for labor and delivery, newborn nursery, any of the maternal child health. It's only one unit, one pediatric unit. But for the adult care sections, we've got quite a few. We have ICU, medical surgical unit, medical telemetry. So in those areas, we can have larger numbers of clinical groups. But because we've been limited to the one hospital, when we've increased our numbers, it's been very difficult for GMH to accommodate large numbers of students. In fact, this year in the spring, we had OBPs. We had 4 clinical groups. Very, very difficult to find faculty and very difficult to accommodate at GMH because of the small, because it's just one unit. So we're hoping to look at that as they open, and we'll see their patient load and see how we can work together with that. But we have had a lot of communication, and they've joined our nursing advisory council and hired some of our alumni. And so as we move forward, that will definitely increase the possibility of having more clinical sites and therefore more students. We are very careful, though, to watch our employment rates because WASC will also be looking at are your graduates getting jobs. So we're really careful to have that balance and not become a diploma mill because we want to make sure our students can work. But right now, being able to have another hospital will really help because 30 graduates and there aren't 30 jobs for our 30 graduates. It has been very distressing for us.
Thank you for clarifying that. Is it the hospital's hope then to, before recruiting nurses, of course, elsewhere, that with this now including the new private hospital, that you'd be able to at least look at our graduating students and giving them preference before you hire from outside of that. And I want that to record. I want to record this.
We had made a commitment, strong commitment to do so, and in fact, as we started the recruitment process, we had made sure through our HR department and through nursing recruitment that we afford almost all of the students from the university the opportunity to work with us. And they're a pool of wonderful people and really excited to work and really exhibit a lot of commitment and dedication for the people of Guam, and we look forward to really having them as part of our cadre.
Thank you. The government has been, of course, very, I would say, helpful in terms of, and as you stated in your testimony, when we first decided to support by providing scholarships to our students then, because we want to grow our own professionals. So we started a teacher program, and we've filled a lot of the gaps, the vacancies there, that we don't have to hire as many off island. We're doing the exact same thing, with nurses, and we know how competitive it is throughout the world, but we want to be able to take care of our own needs here. And I know that there are hundreds, thousands of nursing schools in the Philippines, and I just came back yesterday, and I had a nurse for every different place that I had to go to, and it's a luxury that we don't have
including
here.
the supermarkets.
Yeah, well, that one, no, they didn't for me, but I just, want you to know is that, we're doing this to try to assist, but it's not just assisting you, but also helping with our students to make sure that they do get employed. So, and we would like the idea that they would be given first, priority before we start hiring off island, because we don't want to lose them. We definitely want them to stay on island.
We had a wonderful opportunity to go to the university before their graduation, in fact, to commit to them that as they come in and share their interest in working with us at GRMC, that we have open arms for, again, their expertise that the university had provided them. So we really look forward to this partnership with the university. Likewise, with Guam Community College, we've had a wonderful opportunity to go and share with them what we offer. So thank you.
So, Carlos, we're going to ask you to then keep us keep us up to date in terms of where we're going, how this is coming along. You see, as the hospital, of course, is near or completed. So, I want to thank you for coming in and testifying.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you. You're very welcome. So this then completes, of course, the public hearing for 4 nominees of Ms. Denise Reyes to serve in the public library system, Mr. Kyle Mandapat to serve in the public library system, Ms. Maria Connelley as a member for the GCC Board of Trustees, Mr. Elvin Chiang to serve for the University of Guam Board of Regents, and lastly, of course, Bill number 300, which is relative to allowing trainees under the nursing training program to agree to accept employment with a private hospital in Guam as a condition of selection and enrollment in the program. All of these have been heard. It has met the requirements of the law, and the committee will continue to take testimonies for 10 days, and you can either email them to speaker@judy1pat.com, fax at 472-3589, mail to 155 Hessler Street here can, or you may drop, of course, your testimony at our mailbox. So that completes it. I want to